Hi, happy Easter, happy Passover, whatever else you might be celebrating. Most importantly, happy opening night of the baseball season. Um, just a couple of announcements this week, and then I'll discuss our readings a little bit. First of all, for those of you who don't know, who might not be aware, your drafts were due to your partners today. Well, last night at midnight. Um, you can still get them to your partner. You're going to lose, a couple of points for not getting it on time. But please, if you have not exchanged your draft with your partner yet, please do so. There are a couple of you whose partners have dropped. If that's the case, I'm going to reassign you with a new partner within the next day or so. I just want to wait until the dust is settled and we can figure out, who's in the class, who's not, what's going on there. So expect, if you have not, if your partner has dropped, expect your new partner to be assigned to you by Monday night, and then you'll have a couple of days to get your draft to your new partner. Secondly, I'm a little behind on commenting on your posts. This is a unfortunate side effect of having a child, a newborn who does not sleep at all, ever. Um, I know this. I'm going to try and fix this for the next week. I'm really going to try and catch up with your posts. Please bear with me. I don't mean to be this far behind. It's just, as I said, an unfortunate side effect of this, having a child. That being said, if you have any questions, comments, whatever, please, message me on the Course Moodle site or through the school email. I'm checking my email. I'm up to date with that. So if you have any questions, contact me there. Now, this week we are looking at the post-war world. Last week we looked at the Second World War a little bit. We looked at propaganda. We looked at the actual fighting itself, as Foner discussed. This week we're looking at what the world is like after the end of the war. When we finish the war, the United States has defeated, well, the United States and the Allies have defeated Germany, Japan, Italy, the other Axis powers country, Finland, Hungary, whatnot, Romania. But now there are two powers left in the world. Britain and France, which had, prior to the Second World War, been leading international powers, have seen a decrease in their ability to project political and economic and social power. Germany, of course, has been destroyed, virtually destroyed by the Second World War. Japan has been virtually destroyed by the Second World War. And this leaves two major powers, the United States on the one side and Soviet Russia on the other. Two sides have been allies during the war, and now they are pitted in a sort of Cold War, or at least what is going to develop into a Cold War over the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And this is because primarily the Soviet Union and the United States are facing off over the development and deployment, or possible deployment, of nuclear weapons. As you know, the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan in order to help end the Second World War. Well, this is, these are massively destructive weapons, weapons that were inconceivable even 5, 10 years before. They can kill 100,000 people with a single bomb. And because of this, there's been a shift in the balance of power, and consequently, Russia, Soviet Russia, wants to, well, they're very concerned about America's position and America's use of these weapons, and they feel that they need to have similar weapons in order to balance the playing field. And so for the next 4 years after the war, from 1945 to 1949, Russia works on developing their own atomic weapons. This leads to a great deal of paranoia in the United States. We're going to talk about McCarthyism a little bit, and sort of what that means, where that comes from. And in 1949, Russia drops its first, well, tests its first atomic bomb, which was years ahead of what everyone else predicted Russia would be able to do. And a lot of Americans started to question why that happened. How was it possible for the Russians to develop their own atomic weapons years ahead of schedule? The reason for this was espionage. And this is where McCarthyism really starts to ramp up, is this whole idea of communists within the U.S. government. But that's our discussion this week. Next week we'll focus in on the 1950s, but for now, this week, we're looking at a really short gap of time, really essentially from 1945, August 1945, September even, until 1953 at the latest, right at the end of the Korean War. So that's the period that's under study this week. All right, I will see you next week. Thanks.